So I found a heck of a story for messy money for us this week. Am I the asshole for telling my wife I'll purchase the coffee I want because I'm the one with the job? We're just going to let that sit there for a second. So I've lately come to enjoy some nicer coffee than I usually drink. I brew it at home, so we're not talking daily $7 drinks or anything, which is probably good because $7 drinks are really freaking expensive, especially when you get them every day. So, all right, so we were already saving a little bit of money because we're not going to get $7 lattes. I'll take that. Instead of getting a bulk bag of Kirkland coffee, I've come to enjoy a $12 bag from the grocery store. It lasts a bit over a week, maybe two, instead of $15 for about 5 weeks. So it's definitely more expensive. My wife doesn't work. I work from home. She also, unfortunately, isn't doing a lot around the house right now because of a medical condition. I've been picking up most of the slack while she sits around, and this has been going on for 6 months for the household and years for the job. So the frustration in his voice right there kind of lets us know that he is at his wit's end. And while this is the husband that is writing in, I do want you guys to just pause for just a minute and think about the wife's point of view, okay? Let's get back to it. Yes, she has depression. Yes, she is getting treatment for it. If you know much about depression, it can present itself in so many different ways. And one of the main ways that depression can come through is lack of motivation to do things. And the second way is it can come through as anger and biting and snapping at people. So I try my best to do what I can, but oftentimes I have to ask her multiple times to help, even with simple tasks to share responsibilities. We've had discussions on how I know she's working on the issue, but I can't do everything on my own. Again, I want you guys to stop and think for a second. Her point of view, his point of view. He's frustrated. She's dealing with a lot on her side as well. Make planning to be able to have my coffee be a splurge. She previously commented on the cost, and I said, well, it's within budget, and I like it, so it's fine. So he even goes on to talk about how he has an app that he's using to track their spending, and they're coming in every month under budget. So the cost is really not that big a deal, and they actually can afford the coffee. I brought another bag home the other day, and she made a comment along the lines of, you're spending way too much on this fancy coffee. You need to go back to the other stuff. Having had to make the grocery run again after doing other household chores that morning, I snapped. The one with the job gets to make the grocery choices, work again or contribute to the household, and you can have a say in what we buy. Can you imagine somebody using those words to you? Can you imagine being a stay-at-home spouse? Doesn't matter if you're male or female, but can you imagine somebody using those words to you? You're unable to work for whatever reason. You're unable to help around the house for whatever reason. And now this person has weaponized the fact that they are the primary breadwinner, and they're using that weapon against you. She called me a cold-hearted asshole and stormed out of the room. So am I the asshole for my reaction to being called out on coffee buying? The unfortunate part is that we are reading it from one spouse's point of view. We have not heard from the other spouse, so we kind of have to go off of and make our own kind of assumptions as to who's in the right and who's in the wrong here. And typically when you read something like this, this spouse is clearly overwhelmed. And for a lot of people, you've seen situations where, oh, that spouse is just taking advantage. I mean, he's working all these hours and she's just taking advantage and she's just spending all his money. But in this case, you do see that there is a reason behind her not being able to work. So let's just really quickly look at this from his point of view. It's been years that he's been the primary breadwinner. We know that. It's been 6 months that he's not only been the primary breadwinner, he does go on into the comments to say that he's working about 50 hours a week. But not only is he the primary breadwinner, but he is also the one who is doing the majority of the chores and maintenance and stuff around the house, right? So now he has found this $12 bag of coffee. And this is the only thing, according to him and what he's writing in, this is the only thing that he is rewarding himself with for all of the hard work that he is contributing to the household. To most people, that's going to seem pretty reasonable. Okay. Now let's look at her side really quickly. Okay. She has not been working for those years. We don't know the circumstances behind why she's not working. We don't know what the communication was between the two of them. We don't know if he said, "Hey, babe, I got you. I'll take great care of you." And that's why she's not working, or if she's just chosen not to work, right? But what we do know is that she has an injury, which is causing her not to be able to help around the house. And then we also know that she is fighting a battle of depression. So she has some things working against her, and that's causing all that tension to build in the house. The problem is that neither one of them is communicating. This is not about a bag of coffee. This is that neither one of them can see things from the other's point of view. Because even though he's gone in and he said, it's only a $12 bag of coffee, we can afford it, from her point of view, she's now lost control, right? She can't work, she can't help around the house, and it could be that she is just looking for some semblance of having control in her life, but it also looks like maybe he's looking at the same thing, that he's doing all the work, he's doing all the chores, so he should have control. But the absolute worst thing that he probably could have said to her is that she's not making any money, she's not contributing to the household, therefore she doesn't get a say. We've now weaponized that paycheck. Finances is one of the number one things that will break up a marriage. You do not want to use finances as a weapon. So, if I had this couple sitting across from me, how about just some actual advice? Number one, they probably do need some sort of like for real marriage counseling, because obviously he doesn't know how to deal with the fact that she has depression and an injury on top of it. They've clearly had some conversations about it, but it is just not registering for him that she is dealing with depression. And on her part, she just wants some sort of control, because that depression is taking the control out of her life, right? So in this case, because we know that somewhere along the line in their marriage, he agreed to a single income, maybe what actually needs to happen is sort of an allowance is going to be created where she will get a certain amount of money that she can spend every month, and he will get a certain amount of money that he can spend every month. And that money is there for them to spend on whatever they want to spend it on. So if she wants to spend her money going to, get wine or something like that every week, and he wants to go and buy this coffee, neither one of them gets to question why the other person is spending their money on whatever it is that they're spending money on. And we're not talking about this having to be like a huge amount of money. I mean, if he likes a $12 bag of coffee every week, well, we're looking at $48 a month so that he can get his coffee. So round it up to $50. He gets $50 a month. She gets $50 a month to spend on whatever it is that she wants to spend it on. But again, no questions asked. If he wants coffee and she wants wine, that's it. This has nothing to do with coffee. This was not about the coffee ever. What this was about is the partnership that they have and the power struggle that's happening in that partnership. It's about respect, it's about safety, and it's about understanding that neither is dependent on the other. So I want to hear your perspective on all of this. If your partner told you that they could buy whatever they wanted to because they bring home the bulk of the money, how would you respond? Because oftentimes in marriages, there is a primary breadwinner. Somebody almost always makes more than the other person. How would you feel if that primary breadwinner said, I get to control everything because I make the most of the money? So drop your thoughts in the comments below. And listen, let's keep it respectful. Let's keep it honest. I'd love to know if this has actually happened to you. Well, I'm Stephanie Adams, your accredited financial counselor. Listen, take care of your heart and take care of your cash. I'll see you in the next episode.